The tragic killing of military personnel in Delta State continues to elicit reactions from all and sundry, including the state and federal governments, as the reality of the unexpected and painful nature of the incident hits home. That's our focus on Special Report.
Our flags are flying at half-mast as a result of the directive from the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Outrage Lagbaja.
The Minister of Defense, Mr. Mohammed Badru Abubakar, condemned in its totality the heinous attack on the military personnel during the rescue mission of the 181 Amphibious Battalion in Okwama Community, Ogheli South Local Government Area of Delta State, saying that the perpetrators must be brought to book. In a statement signed by the Director, Information and Public Relations of the Ministry, Mr. Henshaw Oguke, he said the ambush at the community, resulting in the tragic loss of the commanding officer, 181 Amphibious Battalion, a lieutenant colonel, 2 majors, a captain and 12 soldiers, along with the unfortunate death of a civilian, is a matter of grave concern. The statement added that the tragic incident underscored the immense sacrifice made by servicemen and women in the defense of Nigeria as a nation. The incident occurred on Thursday, March the 14th, 2024, when troops responding to a crisis between Okwama and Okoloba communities in Delta State were ambushed and killed. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, directed the immediate investigation and arrest of those involved in the attack and killing of military personnel on a peace mission to Okwama community in Bomadi local government area of Delta State.
These are people they know, and that's why when he heard it, he felt, these are my community, these are people I know. And he went to say, look, this what you are doing is not right. Whatever it is within the community, we can do it, invite the state government, let them come and handle it. It's a state government issue and all these things. And the community said, okay. And as they turned to go, they were rounded up, killed. Not only killed, they were dismembered. Head cut off, stomach open, parts missing. And I don't know what kind of, for a human being to go to that extent to do for people that came on a peaceful means, then there's something that goes beyond that. I know him, the CEO himself, Lieutenant Colonel Ali, of recent, because we have emphasized we want the oil production of Nigeria to increase so that we'll be able to have enough foreign exchange and then things can really go down because we all know the challenges we're going. And so he insisted that all illegal activities within the general area must stop. So he directed all his troops and they were stopping all this illegal bunkering, stopping all these things. And then these are the people benefiting from it. And so when this issue came, I think it came as an opportunity for them to also do away with him.
The statement added that the incident occurred when the troops responded to a distress call after the communal crisis between Okwama and Okoloba communities in Delta State. A reinforcement team led by the commanding officer, who was also attacked, led to the death of the commanding officer, 2 majors, 1 captain, and 12 soldiers.
We know who did it. We are following up on him, and it's just a matter of time. We're sure we're going to get him because they took away again arms. We must get those arms back. We must get those guys so that they can be prosecuted accordingly.
Governor Sharif Ovoriwori of Delta State met the President Bola Tinubu in the State House to brief him on the incident that led to the killing of the soldiers in Okwama community. The governor, who briefed journalists after the meeting, gave assurances that the perpetrators of the incident will be found. The governor condemned the attack and said the state government is working with security agents to ensure peace returns to the community.
The 2 communities in question, they have having issue for years. And last month on the 7th of February, they were invited by the state government where the 2 communities, the members representing those 2 local governments, the council chairman, and the leaders of those communities. And they agreed to work together and they signed peace accord. When this thing happened, unfortunately happened, it was very sad because Delta State is governed within the tenet of rules and law, rules of law and decency. So what happened is not in line with what we are doing in Delta State, because I have promised Deltans that I'm going to be governor for all Deltans, and we have been enjoying peace. And one of my more agenda is that we will enhance peace and security, and that's what we have been doing. So I decided to come here to brief Mr. President of all the things we have been doing to maintain peace. And Mr. President assured me that the peace, as in support of the peace. And we both condemn the killing of the officers and the soldiers, because they are there on peace mission. And what is happening now is something that we did not bargain for. But we want to assure everybody that there will be no more attack on the villages. If there's anyone that has happened in the past, there will be no attack. But we know that those who are culpable will be brought to book. But innocent citizens will not be attacked. You know, when something happens like this, it's always easy to manage tension. Yesterday, I was in that local government. I was in Bomadi yesterday for a security meeting to get full details and briefing. So some of those issues are security issues that you can't say publicly. That's the truth. And we're managing the situation. So the issue of whether a place has been burned down or people have been killed, it has happened. But the way forward, what is the way forward? The way forward are two ways. The people that have been killed, the officers and soldiers, we must see how we can find succor for this family and all, and they giving a befitting burial. And also the community, anything that has happened in the community in the past will not happen again. We assure them, but the people who are culpable will be brought to book.
The FCC minister described the Okwama killings as barbaric and inhumane, pledging to support families that were affected by the incident.
What happened in Delta State, it was the most barbaric I've ever seen. I don't think any right-thinking person will ever support such heinous crime. Not that the people died, but the way they were killed is quite unfortunate. We as FCT will support the Nigerian military in whichever way we can to see what we can do to reduce the pains the families of these individuals will go through. People must appreciate it is not easy for somebody to bring out his life to say, I want to die for the country.
This is the first visit of the Minister of Defense to the 1 Mechanized Division of the Nigerian Army since his assumption of office. On arrival, he inspected a quarter guard mounted in his honor. The visit is to express condolences with the officers and men of 1 Mechanized Division over the killing of their colleague in the Okwama community, and also to receive feedback on the Division 1's operations. The Defense Minister said the masterminds of the killing of military personnel will not go scot-free, while encouraging them not to be deterred by recent setbacks.
I'm pleased to hear that really the security situation in this brigade area of responsibility is really under control, is good, we can say, given the situation and the scenario in the country. The area under their control is relatively peaceful. We are on top of it, and we'll get to the end of it, and that is why I'm going around to find out what are the issues, what are the challenges, and see how best we can deal with the situation. We are deploying serious technology to make sure that we support our armed forces.
The Okwama community in Ughelli South local government area of Delta State, where 16 soldiers were killed, was razed down. There are strong allegations that some soldiers may have perpetrated the act after their colleagues were killed. Meanwhile, the manhunt for the killers is ongoing. Some arrests were made by the soldiers led by the General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdulsalam. Residents of the coastal community are said to have fled to neighboring Ughelli for fear of a reprisal by the soldiers who've been patrolling the creeks. The Nigerian Army said no amount of propaganda and blackmail will deter them from fishing out the killers of 16 soldiers in Delta State. To this end, the Nigerian Army said they are not leaving the creeks of the Niger Delta until the perpetrators are apprehended and the weapons recovered.
Go about their normal lives and normal businesses. No harm will come to anybody. We will continue to conduct our operations in a very professional manner. We appeal to communities to assist us with information regarding the location of our weapons and location of these fleeing criminals. Because if you have information on these issues and give to them, they are also an accessory to the act. The armed forces is a symbol of our democracy. All of us in the armed forces who are out to defend our country.
The General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army Port Harcourt, Major General Jamal Abdulsalam, stated this when the management of the Niger Delta Development Commission visited him to express condolences with the Nigerian Army over the incident.
Our mission as passed down to us by the Army staff is very simple. Our mission is to get our weapons that have been handed away by these criminals back and to arrest all those that took part in the gruesome murder of our officers and soldiers. Therefore, we are going to be in the creeks until those objectives are met. And there is no amount of propaganda and twisting, blackmail, intimidation, false narrative, and what have you, that will distract us from staying on course to achieve our objectives.
The executive board members of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, led by the managing director, are here at the 6th Division Nigerian Army Port Harcourt. The visit is to commiserate with the military formation over the death of its officers.
For us, we felt it would be out of place if we don't come on a condolence visit and also solidarize with the Nigerian Army. For us and the people of the Niger Delta, I can assure you that we're in solidarity with the Nigerian Army for keeping the peace in the Niger Delta. And at this point, where you're mourning, we thought we also have to mourn with you. So we're also using this opportunity to call on everybody in the Niger Delta to be calm, to support the Nigerian Army, to go after the perpetrators of the crime, fish them out so that there can be justice for the lives of those that have been lost. Because those who lost their lives will be on the line of duty serving the federal government of Nigeria.
For the GOC 6th Division, the Army remains resolute in its determination to apprehend those involved in the killing of the soldiers. It says the Army will remain firm, decisive and professional in its operations and called for the support of Nigerians to apprehend those involved. The Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oborevori, has cautioned traditional rulers in the state against shielding suspects involved in the killing of the military officers in the Okuama community, Ugeli South local government area of the state. The governor gave the warning when he met with traditional rulers at the State Traditional Rulers Council Secretariat in Asaba, briefing them on the unfortunate incident that took place. He described the act as barbaric, inhumane, and unacceptable.
This state that we have promised Directives that we will enhance peace and security. It's one of our enemies. Enjoy peace throughout last year. When this expected crisis came up, the 7th of February, someone people of Kuluba community, wider local government, and the leadership of our community in the South. Also invited the members representing two state constituencies, council chairman, their presidential level. We are not saying that what will happen is that here we want them to maintain peace. He signed this report out of the Senate. I want to know that this attack on the 4 army officers and 30 soldiers on the 14th of this month came as a shock to us. And when this happened, I immediately called the National Secretary of Defense Staff, called Chief of Defense Staff, and Chief of Army Staff on the 15th, when I was in Abuja. So I was going back, came back, and also issued a press statement. On Monday, May 18th, went to the Mali with all his security chiefs. I had on the council meeting. One briefing from the brigade commander, attendance, the attendance is the GOC CCTV, and the JTF commander, KK. After the briefing, the meeting went to Abuja, the meeting with the president. I have to brief the president, but I kind of know as if the president targeting the full details of what happened. I briefed the president. After briefing the president, went to see the Chief of Army Staff, also discussed with him how we can. Who can slow down, have peace here. I know it's very bad. I was really bad. And also met with the Chancellor's advisor, the General Police.
He warned that no kingdom shall shield the perpetrators of the dastardly act, adding that Delta State is governed within the tenets of the rule of law and human decency.
Those people who committed that evil act must face the work of the law. No kingdom shield those people. Because Delta State is governed within the tenets of the rule of law and human decency. You cannot tolerate that from ourselves. It has never happened this day before. We lost a colonel, 2 majors, 1 captain, and 30 soldiers. We will not allow that to happen. But the question is, it has happened. What do we do? Is to fish at those that were involved. Any kingdom, these are fundamental people. Any kingdom that is hiding them, you should know that that kingdom will face the same odds. Don't hide anybody. Don't shield anybody. Chief Prime Minister, our President, all of this, they've also assured that innocent people will not be survived. It's only when you connive, anybody that connive will not go free. Not go free. So I know that I will not come and brief people. I'll brief people, I've told you, nobody to shield them. They are in your kingdom, fish them out. You know, they will bring trouble to your kingdom. Any traditional ruler who is shielding any criminal or any of those persons that are communists, evil acts, that evil ruler also have his own problem. because what is happening is not what we bargain for. We bargain for peace. And I promise the that I'm working for all that. We bring development in the democracy to our people, not to people relevant. There was crisis. Also, I got information that some other two villages are also willing to fight. They should not. It's one village, Nubel Islam, one village, Nomadi. They fight as is their problem to face it. This is not the time to fight. This is not the time. What are we fighting for?
The National Assembly asked the federal government to ensure that those responsible for the death of the military personnel in Delta State are identified, apprehended, and brought to face the full consequences of their actions through fair and transparent legal process. The federal lawmakers asked the federal government to immediately compensate the families of the soldiers that were killed in Okwama.
Any member would petition?
The killing of the 16 soldiers in the Okwama community in Delta State was uppermost on the agenda for lawmakers who converged on the first plenary for the week.
I have a motion.
At the Senate, reactions trailed the motion of urgent importance raised.
In respect of the killing of Nigerian Army personnel in Okwama community, Delta State, and the necessity for an urgent investigation. The Senate finds whereas the recent tragic incident in Okwama community, Bomadi local government area of Delta State, the Senate therefore resolves to observe a minute silence in honor of those military personnel who lost their lives on Thursday, 14th March in Okwama community, Delta State. Urge the federal government to ensure that those responsible for this heinous crime are identified, apprehended, and brought to face the full consequences of their actions through a fair and transparent legal process. Urge the federal government to hasten the recruitment and training of more police personnel to take up policy responsibilities while the Nigerian Army play their primary role in the affairs of the country. Urge the federal government to embark on an enlightenment campaign to sensitize the public on their civic responsibilities as it affects their relationship with security agencies. I so move, Mr. President.
The military is not just any institution. So if people see things and they don't talk, then they will suffer collateral damage. So I would have said that we probably just set up a committee to liaise with the armed forces to look into this issue so that we'll be better informed. Because if the military should react, nobody can say you cannot react, because every single culprit involved must be brought out to face the full wrath of the law. So in the course of it, there may be collateral damage. But maybe through our inquiries, if we mix with the communities and try to find out what actually went wrong, we may even assist both parties to reach amicable resolution.
Human rights lawyer Mr. Femi Falana condemned the attack on the military in Okwama community, Nugeli South local government area of Delta, which led to the death of the 16 officers.
You see, you can't blame soldiers alone. There is a general position in the society whereby, because of loss of confidence in the judicial system, everybody, embraces more justice. Even the statement of the president yesterday, we're in a democratic system of government. The president cannot order military authorities to fish out civilians involved in a heinous crime. That is the duty of the police. In this case, it was reported by the chief of defense staff. Since I read that on Saturday, General Christopher Musa, that some arrests have been made. So what I expected the authorities in Delta State to do on that day was to have these suspects transferred to the police so that on Monday morning, this morning, they will be charged before the court. And a statement ought to have been made. We've arrested the criminal elements. We are going to have them arraigned in court on Monday. At least that will go a long way to douse the tension that was allowed to mount, culminating, unfortunately, in the attack on Okwama village. We saw this in Zakibia. We saw this in Odi. We saw it in Baramotu. And when people went to court, nobody was talking of those who were killed. Nobody was looking for the criminals that killed. It was like a question of those who were made victims.
The outcome of the investigations may bring some form of closure to the tragic incident, but still leaves the families of the slain soldiers and the army and Nigerians with a harsh reality of having to come to terms with the irreplaceable loss. For Special Report, I'm Olumide Macaulay. Thank you for watching.